at ESL Challenger League, when we say short breaks, we mean short. It's Wings Up and Lynn Vision starting things out on Wings' map pick of Inferno. Lynn on the CT side, naturally.
Yeah, some utility available as well here for Wings Up. A single set of nades, a smoke, a molly, and a flashbang. But G, inside of the apartments, weren't sure if he was going to be even playing today, but he is here instead of Vadim. No coaches this time over, so we'll talk a little bit more as we get through this game. Starry taking contact inside the apartments, but G is gone, but Starry getting two and spotting bombs, so rotates can come quick.
Sets up for Zaka to have some success over here as well. Bomb will be down and out and could be dropped, but Zaka's missed his opportunity to do just that. Marek trying to close the distance while the bomb re-navigates back to pit. It's all down to WUChildKinG. He's the only one who can actually step out of the smoke and help these players move forward. Marek good for one. WUChildKinG picks up another dink in the middle of it all, and Emilia's left alone. A 1-on-2 with HP that isn't on his side. Marek and Lan both safely nested away on the A-bomb site, and it does look like not going to be able to get away with this one. Emilia's being given absolutely nothing to work off of, and that one kill from Marek just makes it all the more easy. Marek left with 5 HP, but he's still able to get it done. Emilia brings it close.
Wow, so close. Yeah, I mean, very, very winnable, and just had he hit that headshot, turns the round on its head. A very nice aggressive setup there from Lynn Vision, but Wings Up, even with that utility that they brought into this round, were unable to implement any of it, really. The smoke over towards Moto was about as disruptive as it could have been. You saw Lynn with a nice forward face in that pistol round. And, you know, just talking about G, we weren't sure if he was going to be playing today, but someone that we had noted had stood in for this Lynn Vision side previously, especially when Zacher was absent, but more recently has been also taking place of Vadim, 18-year-old guy from the old New Happy roster. I think he was on Take Me Away as well, playing with some old WUChildKinG players in WUChildKinG and Oman. So it's always nice to see a young prospective player get chances with some experienced heads.
Well, WUChildKinG thought he was good for the first one, but at the end of it, it will be Westmill and Emilia to come out in the numbers, although I doubt it should be much more. Marek unhappy about this quick little jab to the head he's been experiencing. This is a headache he didn't sign up for. Emilia at least does end up falling, so Flying and Marek are set up to farm up some cash, even if they have lost out a fair bit in this round so far. Flying and Marek are both quite low, but Flying good for the cleanup.
Yeah, keeping a handle on things, and will sweep up 3 kills with the SMG. So farming up some extra cash, or they lose some lives for their effort over at B, but Wings Up will be more than satisfied that they're able to deal with that appropriately and recover the rifles that they brought forward.
Gotta say, for a second there, it looked like WUChildKinG might have flubbed it just a little bit. He felt so happy to have gotten the first kill that he forgot to get it.
Yeah. Jumping for joy. Right into a gun round. And so far, the Wings Up trades have been solid, whether it's been a pistol or even dealing with that USP round. More aggressive setup here from Westmelon. Smoke that's down. They are not going to hazard through it, but a small gap around the side. Lan will find him, and that leaves this B side a little bit more vulnerable. This smoke is going to have to be deployed much earlier than Emilia is comfortable with, but he's called for reinforcements. Both G and Zach are making their way over.
It's all that it's trying to find the lurk. Beyond that, he has nothing to offer to this round. There are no flashes left for the CTs, plenty of smokes, but you won't be able to use them when they're just moving through. Marek jumping up with the Galil, good for one, but Emilia sets up nicely for the crossfire between him and G. They will be able to contain to some extent, but that extent is mitigated when Lan and Gas get onto the bomb site.
Yeah, Starry can't get there in time. Like you said, he was left in charge of that A-bomb site and maybe even sussing out the lurk, but Wings Up won't be deterred. You know, met some contact over at B and didn't expect Lynn to have rotated as heavily as they did. Even in spite of that, finding all the kills they needed, kept the execute very simple, just the smoke down CT and just barreling in, and Lynn couldn't stop them.
Obviously, to anyone who was wondering, we have gotten confirmation, naturally, that G will be playing, not Vadim. That was a little bit up in the air.
Well, yeah, he's here, isn't he? So.
So reminded me, we were wondering, why is X-Pro not playing and Vadim's not playing?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hopefully it's just Expert taking a break. Pretty young guy, in-game leader. As far as leadership is
Very
concerned.
valuable resource.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, leadership is probably the most valuable thing all emerging scenes need, really. But a good start to the affair here from Wings Up. Hasn't been too predicated off of the sort of star power that players like WUgaSsS or WUChildKinG can provide, or LAN for that matter. Just been some nice solid work keeping together as a pack and overwhelming Lynn at the start of this game.
Of course, last time these two teams played up against each other in the season, it was a 10-16 on Inferno, with Wings Up being on the losing end. They actually won out Anubis, which is why I'm so surprised they banned it out themselves in the second phase of banning in the map feed. Obviously, to anyone who missed out on that, it was, interestingly enough, Wings' map ban.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody really feels that comfortable on Anubis yet.
Especially not in Asia. Yeah. And also, just to add to that, Game 3 is Nuke, right? It's even more surprising that they're letting it go to Nuke, because Lynn 16-6 to them last time. Saying Marek must be giving them a lot of new stuff, and they're feeling this confident.
I mean, you learn lessons from losses. Sometimes
the lesson is not to pick the map.
Yeah, that can also be some good advice. Oh, sorry, shooting at nothing. Saw a little texture and thought it was a person.
Those damn textures. Textures and chickens, that's why I miss all my shots.
Yep, can't wait for them to be everywhere in Source 2. It will be my favorite. Keeping it nice and procedural. Just still maintaining defaults. You know, they've gone in with some early plans in some of these previous rounds, but now as well with the fact that Starry saved over that M4, they don't want to fall into a trap built for him to find success, and they've been able to somewhat mitigate that, taking brackets control when that M4 was spotted at A earlier on as well. WUgaSsS activating in from a deep push down bottom B. Wings Up are a little bit disrupted by this. They're going to feel very boxed in.
They are going back towards the B bomb side, choosing the correct decision, but the problem is it does still set up for WUgaSsS to potentially get at least another. The CZ, as unwieldy as it may be in a weapon, it is still fantastic at being at least good for the one and done, right? So as the push forward will come through, the flashbang is avoided. Land with the bomb is spotted out, but he gets the entry better for it. Emilia misses the jump, and perhaps an opportunity with it gone by as well. The bomb will be planted, Land to put it down, and as the CTs converge, it's Zaka to try leading the charge with a recovered rifle, one that cannot be put to any use at all. Starry, second M4 is at the ready, but he's already considering moving back to save, and that will be the decision. Emilia even, maybe more surprising is the G even is just saving that P250.
Yeah, a little
all the things.
A little confusing for why they don't commit to it, considering that they're going to have a buy regardless. You know, this particular line doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think it allows Zacher to maybe get armor for around his AWP. You know, someone can drop an AWP. Starry, namingly, will probably do so. It does have its merit, but it is a little, you know, I think they could have gone for damage. It's not something that's totally out of the question. It kind of tees up Wings to loosen their hand on the economy, and even if Lynn continue to lose rounds, you know, if you slowly whittle that down, by the time you finally break through, you'll have a much easier time ahead of you. But it's big picture thinking. Lynn thinking short term, and Starry still floating a lot of funds coming into this round. We'll see if G can find impact on this AWP. This has been the real big change, the real surprise, is that Zacher's not AWPing for this team when G is playing.
Star's looking to get aggressive in the meanwhile. Flashbender tries setting up, but Flying was completely ready. Wings up with a super defensive apartment setup with 3 players just waiting for that beat to come through. Zacher unable to get the jump down, and he's got WUChildKinG soaring in from above. No chances whatsoever to get anything accomplished there. G is good for a fadeaway, but a fadeaway is really not going to be sufficient for Lynn to have a chance in this game if they continue to be overrun in the opening duels like this.
This is one of those decisions as well that does feel a little bit too defensive. You know, 3-on-4 retake, you're able to bring it to closer numbers, even though it started 3-on-5. But you've got full util on 2 players. Yeah, this is a condition and something that should be practiced for specifically in scrims, or about whether or not you go for situations like this, or whether or not you have the right lineups to retake into a bomb site. This, I mean, usually when we see players saving, they just don't have nades. You know, this hit came in so much earlier in the round that Lynn could have feasibly gone for it, but
yeah,
didn't fancy their chances.
You've got to remember that this could effectively have been a double incendiary to clear out the entirety of the site. Just get a quick kill off the back of it as well. Wings Up did not have additional utility. So you're right, it is a defensive decision, but Lynn, maybe that's just the way they swing right now. We'll have to wait to see.
And credit to Wings Up, they've been changing their pace. That flash that hit into the bomb site, Starry just couldn't see a damn thing. He didn't have a chance to shoot back, and he was trying to dodge flash. You know, by him aiming in that direction, he was trying to avoid it, but ended up eating it just as hard.
Good night. Beautiful. So much damage dealt to both WUChildKinG and Marek, but that's the only exchange that they have for giving up an ad. It's unconfirmed damage, and nothing else to be coming in from behind that unless Emilio is going to be able to come through with an absolute Jordan dunk down of his own. Flashbang set up, but there's a smoke to be differentiating him. T-side already had that for themselves, so they do have a fair bit of defense and a lot of information that they're able to prevent from going out to the other side. Lynn are information starved right now. They're trying to chuck out utility and set up for another flash peek forward perhaps, but at this point, where are you going to get that info from? A Arch's smoke chucked out from Flying. He's got no util, so that lurk becomes a little bit less deadly, a little bit less threatening, but they don't know that. Flashbang through from Emilia. They want to take the fight close range. Westman is setting up a crossfire. WUChildKinG is far, far away, and with Flying's demise, that lurk failing to activate means that Wings Up will have forfeited their first round.
Yeah, really good stuff. First contact within the bomb site, and then Emilia makes use of it. The fact that Wings Up were trying to go through a smoke, it's so awkward, so hard to get the spacing right for a trade. And they get punished. Those few steps behind. There is going to be a bit of a chase here from Starry, pushing down through second middle. Lan has already skirted on by, but WUgaSsS could get caught, and that's one of the weapons that they're hoping to bring into the next round in jeopardy. Mine sitting inside the kitchen. He should be all good. Could get spammed. That is a spammable wall, I do believe. But oh, okay. No solicitors. All right, a successful defense, and on a bursting site hit similar to what we saw Wings Up pull out earlier in this half already. This time not able to get the entry kill, didn't have a 4-on-5 to work with off the jump because Lynn were playing much more defensive within the site.
Just to add to that, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Lan actually, on the replay, I think Lan team flashed his banana push, which is why the rest of the players couldn't actually push through that smoke in the same way. They had to hide inside it to try and phase out the white duration, and that made the initial crossfire so much more effective.
Well, one flash in the smoke is all it takes to force Lynn away from banana. Sometimes those things can be spooky. And this is a scary position to be in as well if you're G. Could get peeked from either side, either mid or boiler. Relying on a fast flick.
Molotov the immediate smoke, and G is good for one. Marek trades it out regardless, and G's feeling a bit more isolated on this bomb site. The problem is that Wings have used all of their flashbangs in the process of getting brackets control and maintaining B. So as they start to lean backwards towards the other side, this pendulum might be swinging the other way, but there's nothing to say that string won't just break.
Nice counter aggression as well from these A players, re-aggressing through short and over the arches, but seeing nothing. There's no indication that they have an inkling that it's going to be the B bomb site under siege. It's still a 2-2 split.
Emilia flashed up, but it's WUChildKinG to come out on top with the spam. Westmelon good for one, but it's returned right back. Again, T-side advantage as they lean over to the B bomb site. No flashes needed in this instant. G. Good response, but if this is the round that you're going for the clutch, and G will have to come up big. He's got a double flashbang kit. Yes, but no smoke behind it. Let's not forget. Nice slow march forward.
What Marek's up to.
He is coming in for the flank himself. G is going to be completely caught off guard, so he has to take this first duel and then be looking back to the distance. That distance is coming and closing in on him. Marek with a quick slap to the back of the head.
Yeah, I mean, just a very heads-up play there for Marek. As soon as that nade comes in CT, they know exactly where he is, but he takes such a long time to make his way through construction that Marek just takes that space away from him, slugs the flank through CT, and at that point, there's just no way that G could win this. Hoping someone would make a mistake, but it's a proactive move instead. Lynn Vision trapped at the singular round win. Of course, they did by courtesy of the fact that they had such a clean round previously. They had some extra cash still floating, and they're still on max loss. It's not all doom and gloom. Not like once upon a time. Many moons ago, we would have the hard reset.
Those days are gone.
No, yeah, and I honestly don't miss them.
You just don't like pain enough, Michael.
Yeah, it was just kind of depressing seeing teams get 16.
As opposed to triple overtime every game. G. Great shot to be found. Marek is on the sidelines, and G is able to back off to safety. So far, Lynn have done a great job of forcing the T's to use most of their utility, but it hasn't actually stopped these hits from materializing. With the smoke still ready and present, there's a solid 6 or 7 second window for Lamb to try moving past and getting an isolated duel in. He decides not to, though. He's trying to turn back and lean into fighting against the rotates. This could be a B sandwich being set up, right? The A side players will have nothing to add to the conversation, but the problem is there's 30 seconds, and with the op of G completely zoned into deep CT, this won't be successful if that's what your idea is. So instead, they leave flying pretty much alone, and he can't afford to take contact here. It has to be Lan and WUChildKinG, both of whom are not really in the best of positions, be it Lan as far as geographical position or King and as far as his health is concerned. But 8 seconds, G finds the first 1 second connected as well. Emilia just quickly shuts down WUChildKinG, and flying will once again be completely ineffective in this round.
They were really hoping this was going to be a 3-1 split. 3 at A, 1 at B, you know, with how little time they had left, and the lack of urgency to hunt down this kill on that B bomb site. If there was an extra player there, it's just almost guaranteed to go wrong. But in spite of the best efforts, you know, WUChildKinG opened up this round. There was some nice reciprocating frags from Lynn Vision, and that'll put them into a second round. Wings Up are running out of bank. Reinvestment is fine, sure, but Gas the only one with floating funds. The aggro into the apartments. He's been pretty solid on his work with his AWP so far. Hasn't been in the most proactive positions, but has been able to hit the shots when they've been presented. And that Molotov missing Starry, he's going to hazard a glance.
Force up, good for one. Make it two. Zacher getting busy in arches, but that business will end only to be picked up by Starry and taken forward. Lynn, where they were eking out wins on small margins, have now extended it as wide as it could be.
It's funny, the G move to bring him in alongside Zacher. When Zacher's already an AWPer, you know, you pick up G as a young AWPer. Like Zacher's like 1 year older than him. I get we're trying to look for the next big talent, next big thing, but since G's been standing in, Zaka just hasn't been playing with the AWP, but he's been putting up some solid numbers even in spite of that, you know, capable on the rifle just as many AWPers these days are. But it does feel a little bit like an Apex, Chorzy, and Nork move, you know?
Have to be careful. They don't just step into each other's spots, making it a little bit difficult to fight back. WUgaSsS forced off will have the M4 at the ready as well, but by the time his teammates are able to make their way over, this becomes too difficult to stay alive. The bomb, however, can be planted. Molotov to go deep. G trying to level the playing field, but already a strafe out from flying will be able to give him a bit more safety for a little while longer. No utility left on the T side, so the smoke on Banana makes it all the more annoying to deal with. There's no flashes to try and assist through it. Nothing that WUgaSsS can offer up to the table. And the retake is on, flying. Still maintains that elevated position, but the Molotov forces him off. He's out in the open, starting to take him down. G to collect on Marek, and WUgaSsS, who's pushed through that smoke, is just a dead man walking, but there's no kit left. It'll be right down to the edge of the wire. Lynn Vision should have this defuse regardless, but even then you can see G running away just in case. It's right on the nick of time. Fourth round secure.
Oh my god, this would have been a heartbreaking round to lose. They had enough cash for these guys to have extra kits as well. I know that there's arguments to be made about whether or not you need 5 kits on a CT side. You can often recover one on the retake, but given where these players died on B, it didn't feel like that was even possible, but a very, very close shave. And that was a round where they only invested in the one AK. You know, WUgaSsS was the only one that had extra cash. He's the one that invests. And so that plant bonus is going to pay off dividends here for WINGSUP. Full buy, full util coming into the 11th round. But Lynn, after getting brutalized at the start of this game, have been able to find their feet, have been able to get more success on these actual site holds. That's probably the scariest round we've seen in the past 3 or 4.
Fading back. Now it's WUChildKinG with a great flashbang timing, but that might not even have been needed. Not even necessary. Zaka left alone on the bomb site, flying just straight right out the perfect entries to occupy. And Lynn are just getting overrun in these faster plays on the A bomb site. B is where they've managed to put up a pretty stern defense, but can't say the same about the larger side of the two.
It does feel like WINGSUP are just kind of bouncing between those two ideas. You know, play slow default, go fast. Play slow default, go fast. You know, we're seeing those kind of alternate every 2 or 3 rounds. And yeah, like you're mentioning, this change of pace has been able to catch Lynn Vision off a number of times already. Wonder if they're gonna start deploying some of that utility a little bit earlier. You see these B defenders didn't even really get a chance to throw any of their kit. But I think that's one of the things that we've certainly noted and seen in the past from Lynn Vision as a team within the Asia region. You know, even with the modern meta, there's a lot of pre-utility or early utility that's deployed to mitigate certain areas of the map or take control of it. I think Lynn are actually a squad that do quite well to hold on to utility. This is something that used to be brought up all the time way back in like 2018, 2019. The experience on players to be able to hold on to utility for late round situations is actually one of the strengths of Lynn Vision. I think it's one of they play with a pretty cool head as far as whether or not they're under enough pressure that they need to throw these extra nades.
Good strength to have, especially in the current day and age where it feels like everyone's got perfect util, right? Like everyone knows every single nook and cranny of that you can smoke, flash, or nade off until Robs goes ahead and then finds another one, puts it on Twitter, and now everyone knows it again.
Yeah. What a nerd.
But he doesn't even need those glasses. And probably does in all fairness.
Yeah,
play a lot of
yeah.
G. Forced off the angle, doesn't reveal the AWP either, but it might have been spotted earlier on the slimmest of angles. He's been left completely on his own on the B-bomb site. Lynn are significantly more concerned about the A site after what has happened the past few, and that is actually the right read, but WUgaSs's rotation backwards to try and deploy a smoke for Banana. No, he's just going for the peak, and this might be too little too late. As the smoke is down, he'll have the one way to work off of. Good grenade to go down in middle, but it's just a little bit too early. The Archer's pop is being primed and readied up. Flashes through. Emilia needs some more support, and assistance will be delivered by Starry. Only the single kill found, and Zacher and Starry will be left to try and defend this site. Starry gives Zacher no additional support, and as a result of that, the bomb site is lost. Zacher really needed Star to be able to cover up that hay bale.
Here we go again with this slower style. As soon as they implement a fast round, they're really hoping and trying to bank on Lynn making a mistake. And I actually don't think they did. You know, it came down to these last 30 seconds. Like you said, the smoke might have been a bit early, but the counter utility looked pretty solid. I think one small micro decision might have been that if Starry is going to flash deep into the arches, and especially with the flash assists, you are going to need Star to take first contact, because if Zacher dies instantly, they know there's another person on this bomb site. They know for certain that Starry is there, and all he can get is the one kill for his efforts. Could have certainly changed as well if Emilia had gotten his 2 that he was primed up for over on the arch wrap, but can't always expect to get multi-kills from your spots. Very solid stuff on this T side. You know, it does feel like we've got kind of we've got both sides of the tempo we expect to see from the T side, from WUgaSsS. You know, we haven't seen them just hit their head against the wall trying the same thing over and over. They have been trying to mix things up, and it's making things very uncomfortable here for Lynn.
WUChildKinG is going to be forced to use that smoke early on as well, but with the T-side smoke that they've consistently been deploying to actually suppress WUgaSss and company, that makes it a little bit easier for WUgaSS and everyone on the B-bomb side to actually save that util, and maybe they would like. Exit on the B-bomb side still being primed up. Emilia Smoke to give him some comfort. What is going on? WUgaSs's missed out on his opportunity completely. Emilia as well will fall. When WUgaSsS are exploding onto a bomb site, it feels like there's very little there to actually stop them.
Yeah, that's probably the roughest hold we've seen so far, I think. You know, so far, Lynn have been doing a pretty solid job of at least getting, you know, one kill first, and then, you know, everybody else dies. But this time we don't even get that. Just an explosion on B. And what could you do if you were the A players? You're hoping for some resistance, some stopping power behind your defense, but just looks pretty well rehearsed. The only mistake we've seen on a B finish from WUgaSsS was that one time where they were sort of trailing through smokes. I think you noted there might have been a team flash in there as well. Barring that, Lynn have been getting kind of owned. Which is not how I expect this matchup to go.
Not at all. I think one thing that I do want to point out is that with Zacher on the rifle, he did go for some crazy op peaks. We haven't seen that from G so far. He's played a much more Mantu style of op, where it is just a safe, conservative, relaxed. I'm not going to try and flex on anyone. I'm just going to take some chill shots and hit those.
Oh, well,
like that.
Yeah, there you go. That's a nice opening duel to go for. Just as you start to say, yeah, he's played a very defensive, almost like by the book kind of style of oping. You're on CT side. They peek into you. That's the mantra. But this time G takes it right to them, and we get to see some of that flair.
We know he has it for sure. Will there be any more? They've got 3 players on arches. Nice nade flying. He's going to be left scratching his head about why he's no longer got a leg.
You can't train bloodthirst. You can contain it, you can restrict it, you can teach them to wield it, but players need to have that killer instinct from the get-go. That's what's the most moldable. And it does seem as though G is... yes, I was going to say G was going to play defensive angles, but no, actually pushing in and finding information on short. Thing is, they're going through the archers, and Starry is keeping a watchful eye on it, but unable to get his 1 kill. Marek, a solid entry. That'll open up the wrap to B.
Westmount has the worst weapon imaginable for this situation as well. The MP9 is terrible here. A smoke to cordon him off, and they've read into this perfectly. In the meanwhile, though, what they haven't realized is the flanks already come in. Zaka good for one. Westmount unable to collect, and there's enough time to plant the bomb, but not enough to get it post on position. It'll be a lineup, but Lan fighting back, not for long. Lynn Vision find their way up to 5, but for a second there, it looked like Wings Up just needed to find the accelerator and put their foot down. Unfortunately, it is maybe a little bit harder to locate than they thought.
Yeah, I mean, very well read as well from both teams. You know, as soon as the archers were exposed, Lynn were very quick to start accelerating and going in for this flank from via Banana and just trying to get this attack avenue back into the B bomb site. But simultaneously, you know, Wings Up had the perfect read on where Westmoreland was going to be positioned as the sole man left on that B bomb site. It felt like both teams had a solid read, but I think Lynn were just that much quicker and that so hot on their heels that getting pincered in and getting cut down before they could set up into these post plant positions is really the difference maker. Might just be able to salvage enough out of this half. Even in the peak of the M4A1S meta, there was still a decent amount of teams that were suffering at the hands of T-side rounds. I know we talk about T-side versus CT side and who's picking the map, and you know you're expecting to start T-side if you pick the map. I get all that context, but at the same time, we have seen now with the A1S being, it's still okay. It's still in a fine place. The A4, the A1S, neither of them have to be the better gun. You know, they can be circumstantial, but with the changes that have happened to not only the AWP as well as the M4s, CTs have been losing more rounds across the map pool.
Not to mention, I do think that over time, every metagame, well, almost every metagame does end up becoming more T-sided regardless because of the natural ability to control the pace. So should be interesting to see where exactly it goes in the next few months.
Another aggro
G
start.
finds Lan,
Yeah.
and that's a big one as well because it's one which is maybe even a little bit more risky than what we saw in the previous round. So good to see that penchant for danger is very much there and present.
Yeah. Doesn't have a smoke behind him that he can retreat through. Just kind of out in the open. That's a raw aim duel with the AWP head-to-head.
But the amount of A-lanes that Lane have gone for this round being one where they have neglected that possibility might end up with only 3 players on the A-bomb site. Plenty for a defense, but will it be enough to defend?
When they've been at man deficits, they've been playing a much slower style. Again, hoping that Lynn overstep or overswing. Almost were able to salvage it last round, and this time as well, they will succeed in getting that Archer's kill again. They'll try and go for the wrap, but Starry's fast on the first kill, and with WUChildKinG going in for a double entry, fast headshots, barely on screen for either duel. This man is too much to handle. Last round of the half, this has to be a retake attempted here from Lynn.
Small and Emilia, slow creep forward. And there's no one who's going to be exposing themselves early on. Everyone's hitting away, and WUgaSsS is hitting shots like it's nobody's business. 10 secure, double digits for Wings. And we're off to a break to see what the Lynn has, what it takes to bring it back in the second half.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Very dominant first half coming up from Wings Up, and we're already in on 11. That's how bad the pistol round was from Lynn Vision. We couldn't even show it to you.
Wow, yeah. We've jumped forward in time. Wings Up winning pistol, the subsequent force buy. And so here we are with upgraded pistols, but very little else here for Lynn Vision. Inferno has always been a pretty stable map for Wings Up, but I thought given the roster moves, the recent changes, they might come in a little bit more shaky than this. But Lynn have concerns of their own. Couldn't mount successful defenses. Wings Up already posting a couple, and shouldn't let a round like this slip away from them either, especially with 3 SMGs. This is the type of round that you are supposed to farm cash with.
Surprised to see them this defensive, actually. Obviously, the brackets control is a little bit more aggressive, but even so.
They clearly had some casualties in the second round against the 4 spot.
Probably. I mean, listen, I was making it up. I don't actually know how well
No, they just
played.
have no floating money. You know, that's usually a good indicator.
Yeah, true. Lan. Oh, there you go. Lan set up for 2. Gas will shut him down, but he wants some of those eco frags for himself as well. Thank you very much. I told you not to take my kills, Lan. That was my ace I was setting up there.
It's also just like a terrible spot for Gas to really help him, really, because those players are coming in from the exact same point that he is. It is kind of teed up to do some team damage. He was only the final bullet that did him in. It's not like he went full 100 to 0 him. He did headshot him though, so it is crisp.
I like how you went into the full drum roll there.
Yeah, did him in.
Yours were a musical soul, Michael.
I've been caught in 4K doing in E-League streams before, so I am just like you, random Twitch guy. Full gun round here for Lynn Vision though, and this needs to be where things start. Otherwise, Wings will just be too close to the finish, too damn quick.
Oh, wow. Zacher is clutching his back, wondering why it's got shrapnel lodged inside it.
There's a solo hold over at B, and it is just Marek. I say just Marek, but he was quite sharp on some of his entries on the T side. I'm not saying that he won't be able to put up a successful defense, but it is...
But he won't need to.
A tall order if it was even presented to him.
Order's taken away, flying, taking away the life of Starry. That's a beautiful mincemeat machine. Coming out in top bracket, Zacher is left with 36 HP, wondering whether it's even worth it to try and contemplate a couple of kills at this stage. You're probably just better off trying to save this AK. Wings up, once again, perfect read coming out.
Yeah, really solid stuff. I mean, just having this A-side stack, yeah, this grinder, as soon as they decide to try and take brackets control, nothing you can do. Not going to find a single kill, and then suddenly all the spacing just gets thrown into turmoil. Nice attention to detail. They throw over the weapon so that Marek can go and retrieve it. He was the man in charge of that B bomb site, and he was doing so with a UMP. So nice upgrade, and full rifles now donning the Wings up side. I think it's been pretty uninspired from Lynn, even on some of their CT rounds. The ways in which they went for aggression, you know, the banana takes didn't feel like they had the most conviction behind them. They often vacated after the openings of 15 seconds. And the most inspiration we saw was really G on the AWP, but he couldn't be everywhere.
Especially on the T side, yeah.
Those nades are chunky. The saved AK of Zacher already pushed down to 44 HP. Could drop that over to WUgaSsS. More health to work with, but also, theoretically, all Zacher needs is a headshot, which he hasn't been able to get many of this game.
Not being worried about players being so close by, will lose his life, and with that, the B bomb site has been given up in vision. So they'll have a long-range soldier to deal with, and Marek is trying to shorten the distance. As soon as the smoke comes out, Marek contemplates going for the spray, but would rather line it up a boost. And that comes in a timely fashion. Gas drops the bomb with 2 quick kills. Straight double headshot, but Zacher, there's the headshot he needed. Bomb will be planted. And as Flying sets up for a flashbang, Marek peeks in from behind. Freebie given up. Starry's low enough to be something like it as well. And it has to be Zacher, but Zacher's already dead. Starry, only a dead man walking, and it is going to be 14 for Wings Up. And just in case anyone's wondering, WUgaSs's score right now is 6-14. Or rather, maybe 6-13. Zacher, obviously, pretty clearly 5-13.
Yeah, not exactly what you expect from WUgaSsS either. I think, you know, we've had conversations in the past about how WUgaSs's the best melon, and this guy either on some of his lurking actions or some of the kills he gets in mid-rounds are hyper impactful for this Lynn Vision squad. It feels like he's got the clearest idea of how the round is going to unfold of almost any player aside from maybe like X-Pro when he was playing with this squad. So for him to be not able to get as many kills as you're expecting is, I think, a bit indicative of Lynn Vision's struggle so far in this map. You know, they've been caught out by pace changes. They're not really sure what Wings are up to when we saw much of that first half. And now Wings on the defense are looking just as capable.
WUChildKinG close range, so many red rapidly coming his way. Good for the one, make it two. What a spray down, and he's hungry for more. WUChildKinG even backs off after the first three, and I know that it's hard to say backs off after the first three without at least a grin on your face, but that is a lot of patience being shown off by a player who's looking very dominant right now.
Yeah, he was wreaking havoc, and he could have just shut down the round completely, but his 3 kills should be more than enough. It's a starry 1 on 5. And if he can pull him off against G2, he can maybe pull him off against Wings Up. Thing is, they've just been playing such a clean game. They are not giving him a peek.
Well, 15-5. This is not the scoreline I expected, at least not from Lynn being on the losing side.
And both these teams in very similar positions. Neither of them really challenging top spot often, especially if a Rare Adam and Ice, even a Tyloo are there. You know, sometimes the threat of going up against a, oh my god, it's Tyloo, can actually weigh on you, and especially a team that's as young as Lynn Vision. That's certainly the case. But for the Wings Up guys, these guys are getting on, and they've been a part of the same squad for such a long period of time that they just are vying for success. They're hoping that they can finally break through, and so far so good. I mean, Lynn are a big head to take down in these playoffs, probably the biggest one we've still got running aside bar IHC, and they're looking clean while doing it. You know, the flash plays, the protocols, it looks pretty well drilled.
Of course, we're gonna have to wait for the second map before I can confidently make this call, but I think Wings probably look like the best team in the playoffs right now, the way they're playing.
This is feeling like curtains. 50 seconds. And while Emilia has curtains of his own, this is going to be a little too much to ask. Smoke is great as well at buying more time. And there's more where that came from if Flying decides to make his rotate over. Close to the smoke. You're going to hear these nades pulled and steps coming through.
Oh, Marek, good for the one, and sorry, I was expecting someone to be playing in close. Emilia, the only person able to find a kill. Marek's looking for the ace of quad so far, and he might as well be set up for it. He's had a fantastic game so far, both individually and as the calling is concerned. Emilia, good for another one. Make it 2. Back to a 1-on-1, so at the very least, he's giving them a chance for 6, even if it isn't much that he's really trying to contend in for. Flying on his way back up from Banana, hoping that he doesn't just get peeked into, but as a crouch peek forward comes out Emilia. With a quick display, a quick flourish of brilliance will be able to give them at least their first round of the T-side.
Yeah, 1-on-3 there from Emilia. That looked like it was just going to be the end of the round, but that is fantastic work. So sharp on every single one of those duels. And they tried to play off one another. They tried to trade, but Emilia is too quick. It's not enough. You know, 9 rounds straight here from here on out are what's needed here for Lynn to tie things back up and force an overtime. And you can't expect Emilia to be doing that each and every time.
It is funny how very similar the Banana hold and control looks from either side, just obviously with very different results when the side hit actually comes through. Both teams are playing it quite defensively in the B side. Hold just focusing on using most of their aggressive utility on the CT side as early as it may be needed.
They wanted to get aggressive. Really exit.
Dodges out most of the flashbangs, but WUChildKing's been caught out. That's a strange smoke being chucked out. Cass will actually end up being hindered by it. Still adjusts out for one and backs off in safety. A Molotov at the ready as well. Let's not forget, so he can deny the bomb plant to some extent, though that doesn't quite fly through where you needed it to. So instead, all it does is place containment to some extent. Cass even almost gets the pre-fire G. Lucky to stay alive, but as he's looking to close the distance, the flashbang goes by unhit. Good nade, finishes off Emilia. G left alone, a 1-on-2. They've got one clutch before, but that's all they'll have. Wings up 16-6, and what a dominant performance.
Yeah, fantastic work. I mean, their T side looked great, and when we transited into that CT side as well, didn't feel like they missed much of a beat. Almost getting a Marek's ace, having a 1v3 there in that second half as well. But I mean, through most of this game, it was